Hi, my name is Atiba Jefferson. I'm a Canon Explorer of Light. I fell in love with photography in the darkroom, really. The first time I saw a print made, it was magic, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. My first camera in photo class that I used was a Canon Snappy Q. It was a point-and-shoot camera. The darkroom changed my life. That was my everything. And I never thought I'd be a pro photographer, but it was something that I think skateboarding had planted the seed with. Skateboarding, you're looking at magazines, you're hanging the pictures on your wall. I started studying those pictures and was really curious of how they made them, whether it was a fisheye, whether it was a flash, whether it was long lens, how did they do it? I was living in Colorado, and at that point, I was about 16, working at a skate shop, being really surrounded by skateboarding, which was an amazing time in my life. And it was the camera equipment that I was saving up every week to buy. So I was looking at Shutterbug magazine and always seeing ads for Samys. So the seed with Samys with me was planted very young. The used department, because that's only really what I could afford, was such a great option. Cameras were in great condition. There were just so many different things you could kind of just look at and want, whether it was actually a lens you wanted or needed, but there was just so many options. I'd been doing skateboard photography that I learned a lot from Grant Brinton, 95 to 99. But when I was able to work with Andy Bernstein, that changed my life. I was learning how to light studio lighting, everything from Speedotron to Dynalights to what a beauty dish was, what an Octabank was, to all these different techniques. And Samy's was the place that I could come and actually see the tools. In a lot of ways, the camera store also became a school for me because I could talk to Frank about anything. I could go, why does this camera do this thing? Why does this lens do that? I mean, I was renting any kind of camera or lens just to try it before you buy it. And that was a great option with Samy's. It was a huge part of my learning curve of those early 2000s. One of the big pivotal moves in my career was digital. So I got a Canon EOS 1D, which was a huge purchase for me. I remember going, everything's gonna change. Like everything, this is gonna change everything. People have been talking about it, but it's also crazy because that camera is only 4 megapixels. But it was such a different world, and it was such a great thing to see that Canon was ahead of it so far back. And that's what I really love about my relationship with Canon and with a place like Samy's, is the progression of equipment is what makes me excited for photography. Canon has always progressed and has always grown. And even for other photographers, I always say you can try other things, but all roads lead back to Canon. And for me now at this point, I'm loving the R5 and the R3. I think the whole RF system is amazing. The glass, the technology, it's great. In skateboarding, everybody gets sponsored, and I've done a lot of collaborations, and I've done stuff with Canon in the past, workshops and stuff like that. But for me as a skateboard photographer to be recognized on such a high level was a huge honor. I've always looked at skateboarding as a leading thing in photography and filmmaking. I think skateboarders are so creative because of how we have to be on the go and how we have to think quickly. So when Canon asked me to be an Explorer of Light, it was huge. And I felt so proud for the rest of skateboarding. Desert island lens, if I can only have one. If it's a fixed lens, I personally love 50s. Most people go 35 that I feel that I know, but I love a 50 1.2 RF all day. Desert island telephoto lens, 2870 2.0. That lens is amazing because I have a shallow depth of field, I'm still wide with 28, and I have a little telephoto with 70. I think those zoom lenses, 24-70, 28-70, I could get a good photo no matter what. There is an excitement that I always and will always feel about pulling up to Samy's. I had it today, but there are those little things like walking in, seeing Garland, going to the candy bowl. I just really want to thank Samy's for 25 years plus of being a great place that I've always been able to come, learn, test, experiment, just do so many things as a photographer. It's been such a great university to me.